Welcome, Websites for Beginners with JP, and this is Divi Reconstructed. I'm surrounded by cats and dogs because small room, nice heat, and it's winter over here in the land of load shedding. So if you hear heavy breathing, it's actually the fat cat in the corner that is putting out those loud decibels this morning. In Divi Reconstructed, it's a beginner's tutorial series, and what we do is we basically take sections like these, a hero section with a above title, main heading, and then a button, look at a light version, also bring an image, and show you exactly how this is achieved within the builder. This is not a features focus, and I want to say that because when it comes to Divi, Divi has some incredible features. There are so many of them that sometimes when I use it, I forget about them. One of my favorite features in Divi is find and replace, something I've not seen in any other builder out there. However, we're not going to go into them in these reconstructed videos as we're only looking at building out sections. This is great if you're a noob and you're very new to building. Also, if you are coming from another page builder and you are interested to know what Divi can do, then for sure you can sit back and have a look at what Divi can do. Also check out the other Reconstructed series videos here on the channel. I've shown you what we're going to do, and let's talk quickly a little bit about Divi. Of all the page builders here at Websites for Beginners, I suspect Divi is the oldest. It's been around for quite a long time, and it's also actually very different to many of the traditional page builders because Divi, if you search for it, you're not going to find a website with a divi.com or something like a divi.io. You will find it under elegantthemes.com. And it started Elegant Themes as WordPress themes. And then certain new things developed from that. We had mail opt-in, and we had social media, and we had all these different themes that came. And then Elegant Themes started adding builders to it. And from this sprouted the now infamous Divi. And Divi has really grown. And I have to say, for an old page builder, they've been able to really reinvent themselves in many, many ways. There's one area where no one can compete with Divi, and that is their Divi Layouts pack. 215 layout packs. That is incredible. There are so many pre-made layouts to choose from, and each of these, well, most of them feature 4, 5+ pages that you can build out an entire site with. And that means that if you go over to the pricing, you can get it at $89 per year, or you can go for the $249 one time. And just take into consideration all of those layouts that you get, then this is actually a steal. Of course, that's not the main reason you're going to be using Divi. It has a theme builder at this moment, header, footer, WooCommerce integration, the works, and it's absolutely great for blogging. Follow the link in the description below if you want to check out a little bit more about Divi. Otherwise, you just watch these videos in the Reconstructed series to discover what Divi is all about. I'm going to be using this developers app while we are busy with the tutorial just to showcase you how this will look in responsive displays. And I'll just quickly activate that over here. And you will see this is our desktop. Then we have MacBook Air, and I will be referring to these other 3 devices, a Galaxy S20, iPhone 12, and an iPad. And the reason why I go all the way to a Galaxy S20 is because of the resolution. Up here, it says 360, and that's pretty narrow. And the reason I do that is because a lot of page builders give way too much width when they are designing for mobile devices. You think it looks good, and when you look at it on a device, it looks really bad. But having said that, Divi has brought in a feature in their responsive design, which is similar to what you are seeing here. And you will see that later on. You can actually select which device you want to view within Divi, directly within Divi Mobile's responsiveness. That's really awesome. And I wish everyone out there from the other page builders and site builders will take a cue from this one. Just bring it in. Then we don't have to hop back and forth the whole time. This developer's app is called Sissy. I'll drop a link for you in the description below. If you are interested to go and check out Sissy, it's not free. You have to pay for it. But I mean, if you do it all the time and it's important to you, then it's not money lost. The other thing that I'll quickly show you as well is the local server app I'm using called Local. And I'll also leave for you a link in the description below. Local, and it used to be called Local by Flywheel. And you can practice along for free if you don't want to spend money on hosting or on a new site and you want to try it out. Then you simply come here and you practice, install the app and set up WordPress and practice along. Right, let's go into Divi. In our WordPress dashboard, let's go to the sidebar here, Pages, and add a new page. Add new, and we'll call this Recon 01 because this will be reconstructed, and our first one, 01. And over here, click on Publish. And one thing I want to point out here before we go into the Divi Builder is here on the right where it says Page Attributes. Currently, it's set to the default template. In most cases, the default template for any builder is the theme, which means if you're running a theme and that theme is activated for a header and a footer, it's going to display on the front end. Maybe I should do that quickly just to show you what I'm talking about. Let's just click Update again and then use the Divi Builder. We will go into the Divi Builder and it will take a little while to do so. Not sure what Divi is thinking about, but it will bring it on very soon. And every time you create a new page within Divi, it's going to give you these three options. Build from scratch, choose a pre-made layout, or clone an existing page. I've shown you all those layouts, so if you are working with that, this is where you're going to start working with the layouts. And I really need to tell you, I've done this a few times where I have to help people with a quick website, very simple. Then I just choose a Divi pre-made layout. I load it in, and I've mentioned to you, Divi has a lot of features that allow you to find things easily, replace them, and customize the site to your theme and style. And that's why these pre-made layouts are gold within Divi. But this is not what Reconstructed is about. So we click here, Build from Scratch, and we do that. Just close out here. So I want to show you what I meant about the default template. We have up here, we have our header. And then down here, we have our footer. Most cases, this is what you want because sites have a header and a footer. But for this tutorial, I just want to show you how to build it out. So I want to remove these distractions. First, I'm going to save the page. And you can go here to the bottom where you see this little purple dot or purple dot with the three dots inside. After you click on it, Save appears here on the right. You can click on Save. Alternatively, shortcut key is Control-Command-S. As I hit Control-S on my keyboard, you will see the little dots spinning again. And to go back into WordPress, you can just go here to the WordPress toolbar at the top and click on Edit Page. To the right, under Page Attributes, Template, I'll select Blank Page. That's it. There may be times when you will also want to use a blank page. In most cases, you're going to use the default. It's kind of the reason you had bought Divi. Update it, and then we click again on Edit with the Divi Builder. This time it goes much faster. Because we didn't load in anything the previous time, Divi wants to give us these options again. Thank you, Divi. And we again select Build from Scratch. If you had worked with Divi, is it now 2 years ago and any time before that, and you had picked up another page builder in the meantime, when you see this screen, this is probably where you will say, nothing had changed. Because one of the things that limited Divi in the past a lot was the inflexibility in terms of your structure. Divi gave you these pre-made designs and you couldn't do anything about it. This is how it looked. However, things have changed a lot, and I'll spend a little bit of time just to show you how this works. However, I say however a lot in this video. If you really think about it and you look at these layouts, in most cases, you hardly really go outside that. These are good grid layouts and structures and wireframes, and there's really no reason to jump outside of this. What you see here is something with 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, etc., all the way up to 6, which is normal. And then you have 1/3 here, 2/3, and it jumps around all the alternatives. But I'm going to show you there are actually far more than this within Divi, and then you have the power of control to create more. We won't go in too depth in that, just to show you that there is a lot of flexibility when it comes to your column structures within Divi. We'll be using the 1 column, so we just click here. And that is going to open up a next dialog box for us, and it will give us modules. This is the word that is used in Divi. In many other builders, we say elements. I used to use the word widget, and it seems widget has kind of fallen to the wayside, but modules, elements, this is what we use for content. Let's take a break from this one, and I'm going to close out the insert module, and we just look at what's going on the page. We are greeted by this green box, which in my opinion should be a column, but strangely enough, it's called a row. And as I hover over it, you will see it talks about row settings. So remember, this is how we are going to be working with this green thing called the row. You will also then see that there is a new blue little toolbar up there. And as I go outside to the blue toolbar, you see the blue bounding box. This is the building block within Divi, which is a section. As I hover there, it says section settings. You need a section and you need a row to work within Divi. Everything in terms of content goes inside of this container here. Let me just bring in some content. We'll bring in a text or a heading. I'll click here on this gray, which says add new module. Remember, module, widgets, elements within Divi. And we get this dialog box again. You can scroll through all of these, but as you work with it, you're going to get used to what is there, and you will just begin by searching it. In Divi, we have no dedicated heading module, if I'm not mistaken. No, we work with the text module. So whether it's a paragraph or a heading or a subtitle, you go here for the text module. I'll click on it, and it's going to drop in the module and also open the editor here on the left in a float view. I call it float view because you will see I can click on it and I can drag the editor around. Now here I'll first show you a few ways how you can work with this editor. In the end, you're going to decide your way, and I'm going to show you my way, and that's what I'll be doing during this tutorial. So usually, your first time it's going to drop it over here, and it's going to be in a float perspective. You can dock it, and docking happens with this little button here, snap to left, and it will snap to the left, and I like that it moves the canvas and squashes it to the right. To undock it, unsnap, you just click here, separate modal, and then it is a floater again. And I can move it around. I can also resize it over here if I need to have a little bit more view of what's going on, or if I want to reduce it. I can move it to the right, and then from the right, I can just drag it all the way to the side of my monitor, and you will see that purple bar appears there. When I drop it now, it will snap to the right. Modal again, drag it to the left, dock it, same thing. You have another option, and that is to make it very, very big, expand modal. I've not used this, maybe once, cannot remember, but don't need it. And now it's almost gone. Drag it out. I'm going to dock it here. That's what I grew up with, and I'm familiar with it, so I'll leave it here. Whenever you bring in a module, like we did with this text module here, the editor opens. Unlike other page builders, you cannot just continue working here until you close out this editor. And that's why you've got this green check box here in the bottom. Save changes, and this is not save changes to the page, this is save changes to the module. This is a step that I wish can be removed within Divi. It's still there, but once you get used to it, it doesn't bother you at all. I'm going to click here on Save Changes, and now we're back on our page, and let's have a look then at what we see here. I hover over the text, and you can see the gray box. That is my module. Then the green, that is my column and row. So it's same thing, row with a column, and it's a one column, and then we have the section. To help you with a little bit of a few visual cues, Divi has a few features that you can look at. Go to the bottom, click here on the purple dot with the 3 dots, and then a few settings you can look at here on the left in this toolbar. This one here is a wireframe view, which I pretty much like because once you activate it, it will give you an idea of what is inside what, and you have a good idea of how this is structured. You get your section, you have your row, and then the text, right? And you can also collapse it like so if you need a little bit more space. This is super convenient if you want to drag things around on your page, grab it there by the handle, and you can drag it around. One feature I often use because I just like it, and that is to have a literal wireframe display. I'll deactivate this one, go to the 3 dots, and up here you have Customize Builder Settings toolbar. This is the toolbar here, and you can see there are 3 more that are grayed out that you can use. I'm going to select this one, which is going to give us, well, in my opinion, the real wireframe view. If I close it now, you'll see the button is here, and when I select it, it gives me all the outlines of the borders. So this is really visual. I like it. Sometimes when I'm not sure what is what, then I know I can go in here and I can find it very easily. Let's deselect it again and move with the cursor. One more shortcut shortcut I will share with you at this moment is when you hold Control on your keyboard, if you're on Windows, Command on a Mac. Hold Control, Command, and now when you hover with your cursor over certain areas, you will see the whole area as I hover over the section has a blue bounding box as well as a blue faded background. If I click now on it, it will select it. This is a very easy way to help you selecting things if you're not sure where they are or how to select them. Hold Control Command again. Let's go over here. You'll see the green. If I click on it, it selects that one. Or if I go here to the module, you will see the gray bounding box with the gray background. And this way, it's easy for you to find them and select them. Remember that I think this is a very nifty feature. I really, really like it if you ever get lost. If you don't like this toolbar or all these settings open at the bottom, just click on the big X in the middle and it will close it out again. It doesn't hurt anyone. You can leave it open or close it. Let's begin building, and we want to change our text. To do that, you have to select the module. Hover over it until you see the green toolbar appears. Click on the module settings, and this will open up the editor over here. You can select the text within the module and then change it there, or you can do it here within this text editor. I'm going to do it over here because there's a number of features here that are important. We type in lorem ipsum, and very important here is that within this text editor, you have to select which HTML tag that you are designating to it, like the old WordPress editor. From here, it's currently set to paragraph, and then we have heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. This one is an above title, so I'll call it a heading 3, and boom, we put it on heading 3. You will see a few changes occur over there. From here, which is your content area, we are basically done with this. From content, we jump over to design. And then next to design, we also have advanced, which we won't be looking at in this tutorial. Most of the time, we're going to be spending our time on design. The beginner's mistake is to go to text here if you want to make changes to your text and change your text font, and font style, and weight, and color, etc. That's where Divi is slightly different. Close this one. And then remember, we had selected H3, and that is a heading text. If we are working with paragraph text, then you work here within this one. And they should just have called it paragraph text, but this is as old as the mountains, so we call it text. Every time, though, you designate something in an H1 to an H6, you come here to heading text. And you'll see, as I roll it open, we are greeted with H1 all the way to H6. The different stylings for each one occurs here. Again, be careful not to make the mistake and just start changing it out here because nothing will happen here. Remember, we put it on H3, so you need to select H3. I select H3, and then I begin with heading 3 font. I select here, and I'm going to type in there Poppins, as this is the font I want to use, and I select it, and it changes to Poppins. Font weight, we put it on semi-bold, and then font 3 font style, over here is uppercase, and then I will center align it. The color, I'm going to put it on white. And the reason I'm going to put it on white is because I want to change the color of my background, which I've completely forgotten about. Let's go do that first, otherwise this will be madness. Click here on the check to save the changes. Hover over our content area, go to the blue box for the section settings, and open up the section settings editor. Content, background, and here is where we do everything from colors, gradients, images to videos for the background. We'll bring in a solid color, and to do that, click on Add Background Color. And here in the box, I'm going to type the value for this color, which is 36, 36, 36. And it applies it. I can accept it over here. Save changes. Our text has disappeared because it's dark. Hover over the gray box. Go back here. Text settings. Design. Heading text. H3. Remember, that's where we are working. And then here, heading 3 text color, we're going to select the white dot. And that gives us the white color. Heading 3 text size, click in there, type in 20. It's already set to pixels. Letter spacing, I'm going to give it 1. You can see it's already set to pixels. And then heading 3 line height is M. M is the value we use for line height. It's set to 1M, and that's what I like for my headings at 1. This is all. There's no more that we have to do for this one. So we accept our changes here, and let's save our work. Remember, Control-Command-S. I'll go here to the bottom, open up all these options. Come on, guys, open up, and click on Save. Great. Next, we want to bring in another heading, our main heading. And we can bring in another text element, do all of this again, or we can simply go and duplicate this one. Now, here is where Divi often has a little bit of an issue. You have this button here for another row, and this row button is overlaying my column because just next to this setting, this icon over there is my duplicate button. What I'll do is I'll go here and I'll hover. Let's see if I can get it. I got it previously. Let's see. Yes, duplicate module. And then I will click on it and it will give me my second module. Good. Now I will click again on the module settings and we'll bring in different text this time. I'll open a lorem ipsum generator that I always use called loremipsum.io. You'll see me use this one all the time. I just like different text. I'll have 5 paragraphs and click on generate, and it's going to give me random text. So I'll just select a few words here. This one, in me bibendum nec gestas, gestus, don't know. Go back, and then here in the text editor, select that, Control V. We had put this on heading 3. You see it is still selected on heading 3, which means as long as it's on heading 3, the 2 styles will remain exactly the same. What we want to do here is give this a different heading designation. As this is not the same name as the page title, I'll give it a heading 2. And in this case, we are going to style it out differently. After selecting heading 2, you also see that it disappears here because Divi has applied their default state now to it. And this is something we will look at in future videos where I show you how to set up all these default states before the time. You can do it within the theme, so you don't have to make these changes all the time here. There's always an easier way to do it. In the Reconstructed series, we just take things a little bit more manual so that you really can get hands-on with the builder. Go to Design, and remember it's a heading text. And notice as I hover over the heading text, you will see there's a blue box that appears here on the page. And this shows us that here in the heading text area, that blue box is where the text is that we will be working with. There's a lot of these little small things in Divi that I really like. Surprises me every time. And once you are aware of it, it's really nifty using it. Click on heading text. H3 is highlighted because it shows us that we've used H3, and that was our lorem ipsum up here. However, for this one, it's H2. Click on H2 and we go through the same procedure, heading font, and you will see Poppins now already appears here. Heading font weight, I'm using bold for this one. We put it on uppercase, centerline, and white. Scroll down. This time my text size, I'll type in 40. Letter spacing, no, so 0. And then line height, I'll leave it at 1 for now. We'll change it very soon. Let's accept this. And now we've got our heading. What I want for this heading to do is for this line to break into 2 lines. Give it a little bit more of body. I will apply padding then within my container on the left and on the right. So let me just click out here, hover over it, go to the side, and you will see as I hover on the side of the bounding box, there's a little gray bar and my arrows appear. Now if I click and drag, let me just try that again, I can add padding. It may be difficult to see on the video, but it says 214 pixels. Hover over it again, go out, hover over it. And then next to it, there is a little symbol that once I click on it, it links the left and the right. Click again on it to delink it, and click again on it to link it. Now, my opposite sides are linked. If I grab, we go back, this is the thing, grab there, I can now apply it. And I drag it around, and that's what I like. Right, so let's save it, Control-Command-S. And now I want to apply a little bit of line height because these 2 lines are just too close to each other. Go back into the module settings. Module settings. Remember, this is design. Heading text, and we are working with the heading text for H2. That's very important. Otherwise, you may screw up a different heading text. Here is the line height, and I'll type in 1.2. 1.2 is good for headings. You're working with paragraphs, usually around 1.6, more preferable. Let's say OK, OK, great. The space here at the top between this heading and this one is just too much. If you hover over the first one and you take your cursor outside, just a little bit outside, you will see that gray bar appear. So that's margin. And that shows you that the text module comes with a lot of margin applied to the bottom border. And to investigate that, let's click on the module settings. We go to design, and then over here, spacing. That's going to give us that. However, in Divi, it shows there is absolutely nothing. Everything is clear. That's not true. It's just empty, but there is a default value applied. Margin, let's go to the margin, the bottom margin, and we type in 0. And when I type in 0, you see the space here reduces. So there is a default applied there. I can go back to it, and then over here is a reset button that will give us the default state again, and you see the space comes back. Type in again 0, and now we have 0 margin there. If you want to add a little bit, I love this little feature here at the bottom. Do you see that? That's a scrubber. I love it. Just grab it and drag it to the right, and you can add the margin now here to the bottom. Let's put it around 10, just to give it a little bit. And if I cannot get to 10, you can also select here with the up-down arrow keys. And the default state, like I've shown you over here, is a reset function. Very good. And now we're done for this part. Let's accept it, and we bring in a button. Another module, so we go to this gray plus, and we look for button. I'll type in button. Select, and it drops in. It's already selected, so the button settings editor opens, and we'll work over here. So button, my text, I will call this view more. And then the link, let's put a link in here, https w4b.io, and button link target, we want it to open in a new tab. Then design. Over to design. First, we start with alignment, put it in the center. Text next, and this time it gives you an option between dark and light. You can ignore this. It also goes back to the days of themes. We'll maybe look at that. I've never looked at it, but it's over there. Rather, we go to button. And this one is really, really strange. You don't want that blue color, right? But not to want it, you actually have to tell Divi, hey, I don't want it. I want to style it out myself. Yes, please. You have to activate it over here. This one should just be on by default. I'm no idea why it is on a no. Yes, we wanted a yes. So under button, select it, and now you can style out the button. Button text size, we're going to put at 16. And then button text color is going to be our 3636 because the button itself is going to be white. Let's change the background first. That's easy. It is this white swatch over here. Then we go to the button text color. And the text, our color is not here. So we click here on the add color and then type in 36, 36, 36. I saw it change the border as well. Let's scroll down a little bit. Border width, I don't want a border, so I'll grab the slider and drag it to 0. And then we don't have to worry about the border color. Border radius is set by default to 3 pixels. And border radius means rounded corner. So you can see slight rounded corners applied there of 3 pixels. I want it at sharp, and sharp is 0 pixels. I'll just grab the slider, drag it to left until it's 0. Great. And then button letter spacing, I'll add 2 pixels. Give it a little bit of space. Too much. Let's take it down to 1. Button font. Poppins again. Font weight, I'm going to put it on medium. Is medium too thick? Let's put it on, where's my regular? Oh, regular. Okay, I don't see much change there. Okay, there we go. I'll put it on light. Button font style again, we'll put it on uppercase. And show button icon. No, I'm not going to use an icon for this. And then spacing. Let me hover over it, nothing. Spacing. And I want to apply padding on the left and the right. So what I will do, here to padding, left and right. And I love this. I wish more builders will do this. Let's couple the left and right easily like this. I'll link them. And I will grab my scrubby slider and drag like so. And I'll add around 40. Come, give me 40. There we go. And I think I need a little bit more padding at the top and bottom. I'll also link this. And let's see what we can add here. 10. Bring in 10. It seems it's jumping from 8 to 12. That's in 4, 8, 12 in increments of 4. That's very interesting. Okay, there it's a little change. I'm just going to put it on 10. Gives me full control. Add space between our heading and our button. Let's close out the module settings. And we want to add space between these 2 modules. Remember, every time you want to add space between 2 elements, 2 widgets, 2 modules, we are talking about location on the page, and that is done with your margins. And you can choose which margin. Do you want to extend the margin of the heading or the one of the button? I'll just go for the button. So with the button here, I'll hover over it, and then I'll take my cursor until I go outside the bounding box. And you see that thin little gray line. Click and hold and drag. And now I'll be increasing the margin. And I cannot see that value at all. Maybe you can see it, but to me it's too dark. I cannot see it at all. I want to add around 75. Not sure what that is. So I'll just go in button settings, design, spacing. And here you will see margin. We've applied 108 pixels. I'll select that and put in 75 pixels. Let's add padding at the top and the bottom. Go to the top of the section, click and hold and drag. This one I can see better. And I want to link this. So let me link them first. Now I have the top and the bottom selected, and I'll drag in 100 pixels. And then for the bottom, I want to make it a little bit bigger. So I'll deselect it now, and I'll put in 120. There we go. Hey, I think we're done, right? Let's save our work, Control Command S. And just to give you again a little bit of an idea of how everything looks on this page, we go to the toolbar here in the bottom left, Wireframe View. And now you will see we have our section in blue, our row in green, and then we have our text, and button modules inside that. That's how the structure works. And I remember at the beginning, I made a big thing about telling you how columns will work, and I totally forgot to show you. So let's go have a look. Go to our row, and the row can be divided into columns. So you will see we have the row settings over here, and this gives us the row settings. And then over here, we have the column settings. And if you click on it, it gives you again the standard layouts that we had previously. Close, go back to settings, and then under the row settings, you will find this is where we work with the column structure. We'll work with this in the future, but I just want you to take note of what Divi has done in terms of how you can structure your page. Click on this, and it gives you all the different kind of structures that you can do for your row. 1 column, 2 column, 3, and all evenly spaced, and then the different variants. But you then still have control over how you can do it by adding columns here. You can add your columns here. So if I add 1 more column, I go back, you'll see I have 2 columns now. If I hover over it, you will see if I activate my wireframe, here is my column, everything here, and my second column over there. And the reason everything is so squashed is because of the padding I have applied. Undo, Control-Command-Z, and I'm back to my 1 column. Very important key, right? Control-Command-Z on the keyboard will undo. Let's just save it again, Control and Command-S. Next up is responsive views. And you would have noticed here in the toolbar, we have tablet view, and next to that, we have mobile phone view. And this will allow you to display it in different displays as well as make changes to it. Let's click on tablet view, and we see we have a problem here with tablet view, and that's because of all the padding we have added. And then over here, phone view is going to be the same. Big changes that Divi had made in the last year to this display. If I go back to tablet view, it says here at the top, tablet view at 768 pixels breakpoint. However, if I hover here on the tablet view, I have a number of pre-designed displays that I can choose from. On my Sisi developer app, I had shown you I can do this with Sisi. But within Divi, you also have the opportunity to select devices that you want to view. So within the tablet view, I'm going to select iPad. And you will see it stays at 768 because that's the iPad, but it also gives me the height of the iPad. And now I will click here, Make Default Tablet View. Every time when I come now, let's say from my desktop into my tablet, it's going to apply that tablet view. Let's do the same for mobile. Phone view. I can have a Galaxy S8. Changes Galaxy tab. No, that's a tab. Let's go to iPhone 6, 7, 8. And iPhone X. And I'm going to go for a Galaxy S20. And the reason is because of that resolution 360. So every time I want to view my phone view in Divi, I'm going to view it as a Galaxy S20, which means I have to click here, Make Default Phone View. Great. Now let's go and style it out. Go back to desktop view. And what I will do is I will go through these 3 guys one by one. I'll click on the first mod. Oh, that's not the first one. That's the second one. First module. Oh, nope. Okay. Text settings, this is our first one, lorem ipsum. I'll go to design, heading text, and remember, this was an H3. I will change the font size a little bit for each device. And to do that, I don't have to select down here in this toolbar, the tablet and mobile view. In fact, I recommend you follow the way I do it now because it will just help you to stay on track with what you are doing. Go to heading 3 text size, and then these icons that appear next to them, you will see this little mobile phone here. This is your responsive styling for this one. If I click on it, you will see it's currently set to desktop. I have tablet here, and then I have phone. The reason I do this is because Divi works with a top-down approach. Whatever I do here translates to tablet and phone. So make sure you design for desktop first. When you are happy with your desktop, 20 pixels, let's click on tablet, and you will see it changes. Remember, we're working with lorem ipsum, and I'll type in 18. And then phone, I'm going to type in 16. And then I'll go back to desktop. So have a look at the lorem ipsum text. Desktop 20, tablet 18, phone 16. Great stuff. And that's all I want to do for this specific one. So I'll close out. We go for the next one. Activate the module. Open up the settings. And now I want to show you a very handy shortcut key when it comes to styling and design. Normally, we'll go to Design, Heading Text, but at this moment, you may be like, oh boy, was this a H2, a H3? I forget. And if you forget, the shortcut key or the quick link for this is on the page. Go back to the module and you see this little paintbrush appears up here. As I hover over it, it will also give you the bounding box for this text module. By clicking on it, it is going to take you directly within the editor to where the settings for this module are. I remember this is a H2. Currently, it's set to H1. And as I click on it, it's going to open H2 for me. Very nice. Again, we want to make changes to the text size. Scroll down to heading 2 text size, activate mobile responsiveness, and it's currently set to 40. Tablet, right, so tablet is a problem. And at this moment, it's got nothing to do with the size, right? It's everything to do with the padding. So let's go and change the padding first. I'll scroll up, collapse heading text, and let's go to spacing. And then here is our padding. And remember to activate this. If you don't, you may lose a little bit. Go back to desktop just to show you padding, tablet. And now I will reduce this. It's still linked. Okay, and actually that's pretty good. So around 100. And then at the same time, do the phone. So for the phone, I'm just going to put in like 10 pixels of padding on both sides. Now we have the padding sorted out. Let's go and do the text size. I'll just click back on desktop. Collapse spacing. Heading text, if you can't remember how to get there, go back here, just click on this one, and it takes you to the H2 styling. Scroll down, heading 2 text size, go to tablet, and let's just reduce it a little bit, 36. And then phone, we're going to put this to 24. And the great thing, the awesome thing about what we're doing here is we are seeing it on a Galaxy S20 because that is what I had set up here. I've set the breakpoints according to a phone view that I wanted to see. Let's check this, put it back on desktop, save our work, Control Command S. And I'm going to double check on my Sissy Developers app if it's working. I need to grab this URL. Okay. Skitterend. I love this. I really have to tell you, this is by far the easiest yet, because just choosing that phone, it displays properly from the get-go. Tablet is displaying perfectly. I can really not find fault with how those settings are done within Divi. The only thing I will call out to you again and again is avoid using these guys at the bottom to make your settings, and rather use the editor like I've shown you. Every time, go to your text heading, go to desktop, tablet, and then mobile. We're done with this hero. So what we will do next is we will do a light version of it, see how that works. Let's go to the section and we will duplicate the section. So we go to this function here, duplicate section, and click on it. Now we have 2. We add some space between the 2, so we can go to this one, just hover outside it, and it's just minimum height. Let's go there. There. And I'll drag that in around 100 pixels. Doesn't have to be perfect, just so we have a little bit of separation between these two. First thing I will do is change the color of the text. And actually, I can do this with Find and Replace. Very awesome feature. I'll show you later how to do it. Let me just close this one. Let's go through it again. Remember, click on the module. And if I only want to make styling changes, I just simply click on the paintbrush. And it takes me here. Now I can change it to 36, 36, 36. Great feature within Divi. It has a recent feature over here for the colors. Click on recent and you will see the 36, 36 appears there. It remembers you used it before. Do you want to use it again? Absolutely. Thank you, Divi. Click on that, select it. Same for this one. Go to the module, module settings, and then instead of looking for it, I'll just click on the paintbrush, go to recent, and I'll change it. Select it or accept it. Next, we go to the settings background, and I'll just delete this background. Give me my white canvas, delete it. I can see it. Let's bring in a border. So we go to design, border, and rounded corners, no. Border styles, solid, yes. Scroll down, border width, 25 pixels. And then the color, we go again to recent and select the 36, 36, 36. That was pretty easy. Accept it. We go to the button. And now from design, we go to the button. Button text size, everything stays the same. But we will bring in an outline this time. So border width over here. And I'll put in 2 pixels. And then the border color, recent, 36, 36. Look how quickly I had done that. Super duper. Save it. And let's do one more. And this time we will do one with a background image. I'll go to the top one again. Section, duplicate. And now I want to bring this one to the bottom. A few ways you can do this. It's actually very simple. Let's go to the second one. Grab the move handle and just drag it. Keep dragging to the bottom and drop it. And here it is. I'll add some margin between the two. Go to the top where you see the bar, drag it, and again around 100 pixels. There we go. Change the background. Settings, module section settings, and then background. Let's remove the background color, and then we bring in an image over here. Add background image. I'll drag in my hero, upload image, and it drops down there. Let's just make sure background image size is set to cover. Yes, that's what I want. Background image position, center. That's what I want. So I'm very happy with this as well. This will display well. The only problem we have is always this thing about contrast and legibility. Can you clearly see what's going on there? And it's a rookie mistake to have white text on a light background. It works good on the leaf and the background because that's dark, but then this white text over the skin is not enough contrast to make it really stand out. It's just bad design. If it is very clear as to what you are trying to say, then who cares? But in this case, we just want to look a little bit more professional. To do that, we have to bring in an overlay. Doing that in Divi, you need to bring in actually a gradient. So from here at the top, you go to the gradient section and you click on Add Background Gradient. And it's going to give you this default gradient. Let's go down and select this option. Place gradient above background image because we want to use it as an overlay. And when I do that, my background image disappears, though it is still there. Now we have to make changes to the gradient color. I'll click here on select color. And this time I'll choose the black, not the 3636, because it's going to give me a faded look, which I'm not interested in. I want it to be solid black. So I'll grab the black and you see it's applied there at the top. I'll go to the second one and I'll also grab the black. To give it a overlay effect, we need to apply transparency to it, and that is done within the color selector. Let's choose the first black again. And from here on the right, this slider will apply transparency. I'll drag it down to around 20%. And I know it's 20% because over here in the top, where it says RGBA, A is the last digit, and this is where we're going to see the transparency. Transparency value is 1, 0 to 1. 0 means full transparency. 1 means it's opaque, it's completely solid. So 0.19 is 19% opacity, which means it's around 80% transparent. I don't think I can get to 20, that's a little bit difficult, but it's good enough somewhere around there. I probably can type it in. There I got it. Then we do the same for the second one. Click on that, and we reduce the opacity to around 20. And now it looks much better. You can also, and one thing I like to do is, one of these you can make a little bit darker, and that gives you that gradient effect. So I'll increase this to around 40%, 50%. And then as we click out, you can also change the direction of the gradient. So grab here the gradient direction, and as I drag it, you will see the dark side moves around. Okay, let me see, where is it now? I'm losing it. Up here is also a visual display. So if I want the dark at the top, I can do that. I kind of like the dark at the bottom. So let's put it back. I'll just reset it here to 180 degrees. Accept that. And I'll add a little bit of margin at the bottom of this section so we can still have some white space just when we view it. Save. And everything should look good on our tablet and mobile displays. We already did that for the top section, so we don't need to go and do it again for the second and the third one. Let's go to Sissy and do the test, if all is working well. And I'm mostly interested in the mobile devices. Let's focus on this Galaxy S20 to see how it works. Pretty nice. And then I scroll up with a border. It looks good. And it looks good. Great. And let's have a look on a MacBook Air, how that will look. Focus for us here. Here a section, a light version. And there we go. And naturally, remember we put the link to Websites for Beginners. So if you click on the link, that should work. Open a new tab, and it takes us to Websites for Beginners. Okay. I have to say, we did a pretty good job. That's Divi. There's so much more in Divi that we're going to tackle in the Reconstructed video series. I hope this was interesting. Maybe you've seen a few things you didn't know of, and we'll still find out all those other things in Divi under the hood. Let's wrap it up. Hope you have a great day. See you next time. From me, JP. Goodbye.